This story starts from the year 1965, where a genetic scientist named David Banner he experiments with the DNA of starfish, jellyfish, monkey, and lizard. And during these experiments he comes to know about some strange things. He discovers that cells can be rebuilt and the body can be strengthened. But he still does not get success in this work, but he believes that if it is successful and it can be used on humans. So he cannot be killed by any weapon, explosion, poison, or any other things. He can't even get sick. But he fails in his experiments and the government closes his project. But he keeps quiet from the government and keeps working on his project. And whatever medicine he makes, he uses it on his body. Meanwhile, his wife becomes pregnant and has a son named Bruce. Now because David's body has the effect of that drug in his DNA, so obviously his son's body will have all the same changes that David's body has. And when he takes his son's blood sample, his point is confirmed. He also has to find the cure for the thing by any means, because he himself does not even know what will happen to the medicine he has injected into his body. And the same DNA is also in his son's body. That's why he wants to find a cure by any means. Bruce is not like ordinary kids. Whenever he gets hurt, he doesn't cry, he always laughs because he doesn't feel pain. And now David is doing research on his project. He is fired from his project. Because even after giving the warning, he has not finished this research. Rather, he is using it on himself, that is, on the humanity. Now that David has been fired, he gets very angry. And in the lab where he works, he activates the gamma rays. That's why everyone has to run away from there. David comes to his house. At home, there is a fight between his wife and her. Bruce is too young. He doesn't understand. Years pass and Bruce is all grown up and adopted by a lady named Krenzler. Bruce's name is now Bruce Krensker. He does not know anything about his past life and his parents. All he knows is that his parents are dead and that Krenzler is his mom. Bruce is also a scientist who is doing research on gamma radiation. Here a girl named Ross also works with Bruce and both of them love each other. At the same time, both of them are working on a project, due to which they are looking for a cure for cancer and Alzheimer's with low-level gamma rays. And it has also been successful to a great extent in its work. Nowadays, an army officer named Glenn comes to him. It wants that whatever research these two do, they should do it only for the army. Actually, Bruce and Ross who are experimenting on gamma rays, it also happens that any wound will heal quickly due to this. And in this work, both of them have been successful to a great extent. But he doesn't want to work for the army. In fact, he wants that whatever experiment he does, it should be for the whole world, for humanity. But Glenn doesn't want that and he threatens the two of them and leaves. And now in the lab where these two work, there comes a new cleaning worker. Ross asks him where is the one who used to clean earlier. Then he says that he is dead. And now I'll work here instead. This guy is so weird, and when the lab is completely empty, so it goes to where Bruce works. Over there he gets Bruce's hair and he keeps that hair with him. And goes home and starts doing some research. Actually, this is Bruce's father David, which Bruce no longer knows and does not recognize. And it picked up Bruce's hair because he needed Bruce's DNA. Now David has got his DNA. On the other hand, working in the lab, the gamma rays that come in contact with the man dies. The machine of his rays gets out of control and they cannot control him. And before those rays fall on Bruce's relative, he appears in front of him and all the rays fall on him, and when Bruce's eyes open, he is in the hospital. After that, Ross comes to her. She is shocked. She says you didn't have to be alive because he is a scientist. She knows how dangerous these rays are. Bruce says that I liked it. For many years there was pain in my neck. Now it is completely cured. I am feeling very energetic. Looks like gamma rays have fallen in love with me. Both of them are scientists, so one wonders how and why this happened. Now David comes to Bruce at night and he tells him that you will be surprised by what is happening to you. But I have the answer to every one of your questions. He tells Bruce that I am your father. Then he says no, my parents have been killed. David tells you were lied to, the truth was hidden and the quest you've been trying to do for so many years is actually within you. And now we will try to understand it. And he also tells her to stay away from Ross because she is the daughter of Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt is a general in the army, and this is the same man who stopped David's research and sent him to jail. Actually, David was in jail till today, but Bruce can't stay away from Ross. He loves him, and he doesn't believe anything David says, and he tells him to leave. David says before leaving that we have to keep an eye on your anger, and he leaves from there. That night, when Bruce is in the lab, he remembers David's words. And at the same time, he also remembers the faint memories of his childhood. And he remembers many such memories which makes him angry, and chemical changes are taking place in his body, from which he starts changing slowly, and after a while he takes the shape of a demon. He becomes a Hulk. It's the first time this has happened to her, so it hurts a lot. Here his dad is also watching him silently, and when he becomes completely the Hulk, then his dad comes in front of him and touches his cheek, and then Bruce has memories of his childhood, and there are some memories in those memories that make him angry, and he breaks the lab and breaks the roof and leaves from there. Next morning, Ross comes to meet her at his house and tells that yesterday a lot happened in the lab. Bruce doesn't remember anything about it. He can't remember he became the Hulk last night. He thinks it was a dream. He tells Ross that I had a strange dream yesterday. It felt like I was being born. Ross asks him if you were in lab last night, so he says no, but he was new cleaner. He says that he is my father. That man is very strange, and he has some dogs too, and when they were talking among themselves, only then Ross's father comes, who is a very big officer in the army. And he tells his men to take his daughter out, and they take her out, and when she is in her car, her dad comes to her and tells her that I think this your friend is completing his unfinished work. Actually, Thunderbolt knows that David is Banner's son. But he doesn't talk this to his daughter, and Bruce, he tells his daughter that whatever he is doing, we will go under him. We will keep it under house arrest for a few days, and you stay away from it. Actually, whatever happened last night, he suspects that it was all done by Bruce. And he is completing the unfinished work of his father, so he takes him in his custody. Other side, Ross goes to Bruce's dad, David, and says that Bruce told me you were in the lab last night. I want to know what happened there. David says you want to know what happened to Bruce so you can change him and fix. Ross says that my father is a general in the army, and he has doubts that Bruce is doing some such work which can threaten the security of the country. David says you handed him over to your father. It is very dangerous for him. My son is unique, and this world never accepts strange things. While talking, Ross takes off the stall around her neck and puts it on the sofa, and David secretly sits beside her and keeps her stall. He says, is it too late? Now I can neither help him nor you. And anyway, he doesn't consider me his father, and you can leave now. And he has to leave. On the other hand, the General Bruce does the investigation. He asks about his father David. He says, I don't know anything. I want to help you. He says, you know who I am. I am the one who sent your father David to jail, and I can do this to you too. Bruce says that I don't know anything about this. I was always told that my father was dead. He says you are lying. When you were 4 years old, that accident happened in front of you, and no one can ever forget such an accident. Bruce says, which accident? I do not know anything. Tell me something. Thunder says that your condition is worse than I expected. Your lab is sealed, and you cannot even go to the smallest lab where even the smallest experiments are going on. You will no longer be able to teach science to children, and if you do not stay away from my daughter, I will take away your life from you. Now Bruce is imprisoned here when a phone rings at night, and when he sees somebody has hidden the phone inside a sofa, and this phone is of his father David. Even if he knows that his dad is David, he asks them, what did you do with me? He says that you can never understand it because I also did not understand it well till today. Bruce says you experimented on yourself, and in return you gave me this disease. Her dad says it's unique. Wonderful. Now it's time to use it. Bruce says that I will never let it happen. I will go away from here, and I will treat myself and will remove it from. I know you and Ross will do this together, but are you a part of your body? Would you like to separate anyway? I've sent my four-legged soldier to Ross. I did some experiments with your DNA, and the results are great. Although he is very unstable, Bruce says you used my DNA on animals, so he does. Yes. And I sent them to the Ross. Let's see what she says about them. Bruce says you're crazy and I won't let this happen, and he hangs up, and when he tries to get out from there, he is stopped. This angers Bruce. So he starts to change, and slowly he becomes a Hulk. And from there he goes straight to place where the Ross lives. Ross feels like someone is outside the house, and when she comes there she sees Bruce behind the trees. But she is not afraid of him, and Bruce picks her up and puts her on the roof. They were looking at each other when the dreaded dogs reached there. Bruce makes Ross sit inside the car and starts fighting with the dog. This dog's very dangerous because they have their own DNA inside them, But Bruce kills them all, and after killing them he once again becomes a normal person, and then he comes to Ross. Ross asks her, "Do you remember anything?" Bruce explains that the gamma rays mixed with my body have brought about these changes in my body. I feel a sense of power, of anger, and of freedom. And it's all because of my father. He wants to change me completely. Want to make me the devil? Ross says, "No problem. Everything will be fine. Together we will fix everything." The next morning Ross tells her father that Bruce is with her because she is scared. And she wants to help Bruce. She doesn't know her dad's intentions. His dad sends some men over there, and he injects Bruce with a gun from afar. Ross tells her that I will take you from here to a safe place and will fix everything. Bruce closes his eyes and faints. And the army takes him down several hundreds of feet underground away from the city and imprisoned him. Ross would not have known this thing earlier. She asks her dad, "How long will you keep Bruce unconscious?" His dad says that if need be, he will have to spend the rest of his life like this. Rose says that he is human, not animal. "I want you to help him. Why do you think he is a threat?" His dad says that I know his father. He was also a lunatic like him. And it's saying that he doesn't know his father while he is also doing research on the same subject on which his father was doing. Ross says, "I know that the government wants to use Bruce, otherwise you don't keep him alive yet. I am his friend. I know him well. You let me meet her, let me talk to her, I can help her," and she got permission from his dad. She hangs out with him, spends time with him. When she comes back, her dad tells her that you will never be able to meet Bruce after today, because Bruce is going to be taken by the NSA. He tells her that Glenn cheated on her. Glenn is the same army officer who wanted Bruce and Ross to work for him. That is, work for the army. Ross's dad reveals that Glenn wants to make a deal using Bruce, along with some of the top army officers, so that he can earn a lot of money from it. He tells his daughter that he can't let you meet him for the last time because we have orders and now you should go home. And she goes home from there. On the other hand, it is shown that David tries to complete the research that Ross and Bruce were doing together. He uses gamma rays on his body, but he is not able to become like Bruce. A different power comes inside him. That anything he touches, he starts mixing with that metal. That is, if he touches iron, then he will start mixing with iron, and he can also use the energy of that metal. Then a guard comes there. David says, "You are no match to my power." And he kills him and leaves from there, and after leaving there he goes to Ross. He says, "I want to meet my son Bruce. Your father is in charge of this whole project." Ross says he can't do anything because the NSA is about to take over Bruce. Ross says that you are responsible for whatever is happening with Bruce today. You made him like this. David tells that I loved my wife very much. She wanted a baby, then he was experimenting on himself at that time, and when we had a child, he got all those qualities which should not have come in him. Actually, I had given my wife one demon instead of a son. I was looking for its cure, but before that your father stopped that research. I had no other way, and I wanted to kill Bruce, and I took the knife and went to kill him. Then my wife came, and by mistake the knife hit her and she died. It used to be a very sad incident for me, and this is what happens. About which Ross's dad has told Bruce that how can you forget such an incident? Because Bruce was 4 years old at that time. On the other hand, it is shown that Glenn is torturing Bruce. He gives him an electric shock so he can become a Hulk again, so that he can take a piece of meat from his body and do research on it and make more people like him. And he can earn money from this work. But Bruce does not get angry and keeps his anger under control. And he doesn't become the Hulk, but he becomes unconscious due to Glenn's torture. And when Bruce faints, Glenn puts him in a tank of water. And Bruce has dreams and sees in it that his father thought him as a monster and wants to kill him, and his mother is protecting him. This angers Bruce, and he becomes the Hulk in the same tank, and he breaks that tub and goes out, and after getting out an attempt is made to make Bruce unconscious with chemical, but these gases have no effect on him. Bruce walks out of her. Bullets are also fired at him. Above that, it has no effect on him. Hulk jumps high and leaves, but the army chases him. And when Hulk is on top of a bridge, an airplane comes towards him and he loses his balance. And before he could have a crush, Hulk jumps on him, which makes him fall down and avoids his accident. But the Hulk is still over him. Thunder says take it as high as you can, and when he takes the Hulk to the height of the sky, at one point the Hulk leaves his hands and he faints. And he falls into the water. Multiple firings take place in the water from above, but the Hulk survives. He comes to the middle of the city, but here Thunder uses his daughter. And when Ross comes in front of Hulk, it starts to become normal, and Hulk once again becomes Bruce. The army takes him into their possession. Now Ross's father wants to kill Bruce at any cost. He orders that if it does any work other than sitting on a chair, then kill it by giving it an electric shock. This makes Ross very sad because his father has cheated on him. At the same time, now Bruce's dad David surrenders himself to the army. But they have one condition. He wants to meet his son for the last time. Actually, it is David that have such power in him that he can pull anyone's power. And he wants to draw the power of the Hulk. These two father-sons start talking among themselves. David tries to anger Bruce, but he does not get angry, due to which David starts peeling the current lying there from his mouth, due to which he gets electrocuted. And it absorbs the power of the current. The lights of the whole city go out, and now Bruce also becomes Hulk, and now there is a fierce fight between these two. First, their fight takes place in the sky. After that, they reach a lake and they fight there too. He tells the Hulk that I want your power, and David starts absorbing his power. Hulk says, take this, my power. Hulk has so much power inside that David can't handle. He says, I don't want your power. Take it back, and then it is shown that there is an atomic bomb released by the army, and both of them die from this bomb. And one day daughter Ross gets a call from her dad, and he says, whatever people say, they think they've seen Bruce. If he comes to meet you, then you will tell me. She says, no, it will never happen. I don't even want him to visit me, because the more I think about him, the more my love for him grows. And she disconnects the phone. While in the forest, it is shown that Bruce is still alive, and he treats the tribals. When he is treating some people, some militiamen come there, and they are snatching medicine from them. Bruce says that you are making me angry, but he controls his anger. He seems to have learned to control his anger, because if he gets angry, he will become Hulk. And the world will know that the Hulk is still alive. And with this, the story ends here. The film was released in 2003 and has an IMDb rating of 5.6. The budget of this film was $137 million. And it earned $246 million at the box office. Hope you liked this story. Please subscribe to ScriptBlueprint.